You're listening to the official start of your NFL week. You're listening to the opening whistle.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the opening whistle. As always, you can find us on Twitter at The Slam Sessions. I'm Albert Albanese.
I'm Avi Schiffman.
And Avi, where can they find you on Twitter?
At Avi Schiffman 88.
Boom, beautiful. Of course, today we're going to go over the two NFC and AFC Championship games that happened a couple weeks ago. We're, of course, going to talk about the big game. And to break it up a little bit, we're going to talk about some of the free agents and some of the big guys that look like they could be traded in this offseason. See where we think they may end up landing. But we'll start off with the Falcons and Packers. Now, a couple weeks ago, it's been 2 weeks since we met. We talked about the Falcons and the Packers being one of those games that was going to end up being the last possession. Whatever team had that ball at the end was going to win. And man, were we both completely wrong.
Yeah, we were very wrong. Ultimately in that game, I just think it came down to, listen, the Falcons were just the better team. At the end, I thought that I was wrong. Listen, you were 2-0. I was 0-2. I was wrong.
I was going to rub that in a little bit later.
I was wrong. I just think the better team all year won the game, and Rodgers, I guess it was too much for him at the end of the day to carry them. He can do it, but it was just too much for him with that team with that high-powered offense and the MVP and all that stuff, all the momentum they have going to the Super Bowl. So the better team won the game, and that's how it should be.
I agree. We talked a little bit about a couple weeks ago about how Aaron Rodgers and the Packers were on just this unbelievable tear. They've been on a streak over the past, 8 to 10 games. But they really started off shaky in the beginning of the season. I really thought that might be something that kind of played into it, and it kind of proved true.
Yeah, it really did. Rodgers, it just pained me. It pained me to see that the Cowboys couldn't beat the Packers after what they showed this last game, and the Cowboys couldn't even beat them. It was just really, it was terrible to watch. That game it's just from the start. The Falcons got off to a hot start, and they didn't look back, and they're moving on.
Well, most of that, it's important to one guy. How amazing did Matt Ryan look?
Matt Ryan, he looked like he did all year, an MVP candidate, and we'll see what he does. In the next game, we'll talk about that soon. But he looked like he did all year long, an MVP, the MVP that he might win. I don't know if he's going to win. He probably is going to win it.
Well, the announcers mentioned a bunch of times it looked like this kind of cemented his MVP season.
Yeah, well, this is why I don't like it. They should announce it before the, before the playoffs start even. Because now I don't know if it plays into it, how he plays in the playoffs. I don't know.
I agree. Well, see, that's one of the things. We're gonna veer off topic just for a couple of seconds. That's one of those things that always bother me about the MVP. I think the MVP should be overall the guy who was probably the best player in the league. And I think that a lot of people get lost in the shuffle because they're not playoff teams. And one guy who, more than anything else, I really got lost in the shuffle this year was David Johnson. With the Cardinals not making the playoffs, he played behind an offensive line that wasn't anywhere near as talented as what Ezekiel Elliott played behind, and was unbelievable. And doesn't get considered.
I think it's hard in the NFL to pick one MVP. Unlike other sports or the NBA where it should be like LeBron every year. He's the most valuable player, obviously.
True.
But the NFL is hard. There's a lot of players that deserved it this year, especially two guys on the Cowboys that definitely were in consideration. Should have, Aaron Rodgers. A lot of guys deserved the MVP. But, Matt Ryan, this was just – it's like last year with Cam Newton. Just finally took a step up and, carried his team, and – He's probably going to win it.
Well, listen to his line was 27 for 38, 392 yards, 4 touchdowns. One of them a running touchdown. Threw one to Jones, Sanu, and Freeman. This is what I talked about a couple of weeks ago when I talked about the Falcons being one of the teams that I thought was going to make the Super Bowl. It's that running game that they have. They have two amazingly talented running backs, and then you have spearheaded with Matt Ryan, and Ryan finally got some options this year. It's not just Julio Jones all the time. Mohamed Sanu stepped up big time. This is a great team.
It really is. And it just seems like it just seems like somebody's always wide open with the Falcons, right? Do you feel like that?
No, I completely agree.
It just shows, it makes it easier for Matt Ryan, definitely. But, it's just everything plays into it. They have a good coach. They have great offensive coordinator who's going to be a head coach, probably the 49ers soon. It's just this year was just everything was clicking for them. It took them a little bit to get hot, but once they got hot, they didn't look back.
I completely agree. This is going to be, The reason why I do like to see the Falcons, win this game too, is this is a fresh matchup we have. We're going to see a Super Bowl that, over the past few years, it's been the same teams have been mentioned every year. And this year we get the Falcons in there, and this isn't one of those games where you can sit there and go, well, whatever. It's the Falcons. They're just going to wind up losing. The Falcons look great.
They do look great. But listen, they played a Packers team who pretty much was just going with. They just had a quarterback and no other. It was just Aaron Rodgers going into it. They didn't really count in any of the other receivers. They didn't show up, the other players. Well, the Falcons' defense is pretty good also. But the Patriots are a totally different opponent they're going against. We know that this is the seventh time they're going to be there. This is going to be we'll talk about it. This is going to be should be a phenomenal game. And they're going against the best. So
I agree.
We'll see.
Falcons win 44-21. They put up that much offense in an NFC Championship game. I mean, that's...
Well, let's be real. The Packers' defense is not that good.
No, it's not.
It's not. But the Falcons' offense is really good, and this is what this is what we expected. I mean, we expected a higher scoring output for the Packers, but we expected the Falcons to score.
Oh,
a
absolutely.
Lot. They did.
Well,
just not the score that we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to talk about high-powered offenses. Falcons win 44-21. The Patriots beat the Steelers 36-17. Man, I picked the Patriots to win. I was not confident in that pick, and man, it kind of made me look like $1 million picking them because they kind of just made the Steelers a pedestrian.
They did. I picked the Steelers, but I wasn't that confident either. It's funny. I picked the Patriots before the season to win the Super Bowl.
You did. He did. Guys, I know. We talked about this before the season even started. He did pick the Patriots.
I did pick the Patriots over the Packers, but I just felt that I don't know. I guess me not wanting the Patriots to win, but how can I pick against the Patriots? You can never pick against the Patriots at home in the championship game. It's really and it's like both games were very similar. They were both blowouts. Both home teams just dominated from the start. And, you had two quarterbacks, Roethlisberger and Rodgers. They didn't really play well. It was just Patriots from the beginning.
And the two other quarterbacks on the other side, we talked about Matt Ryan, but man.
The two best quarterbacks this year probably now, are moving on to the Super Bowl. And that's what I like. I like that,
Absolutely.
The two best quarterbacks this year going to the Super Bowl, arguably the best quarterbacks this year. It should be amazing.
I mean, Tom Brady is on fire again. The Patriots look like, again, the most dominant team this season. I mean, Brady's line, it was 32 out of 42, 384 yards, 3 touchdowns, a couple of Hogan to Edelman. I mean, Blunt, rushes in for one. I mean,
Chris Hogan, again.
That's the next thing on my list.
Chris Hogan, it's unbelievable what they do. It's unbelievable how these guys just come out of nowhere.
Hogan was a non-factor wide receiver on the Bills last year, and look at him now.
It's amazing, and you got to give the credit to the Patriots what they do. Tom Brady, you got to give him credit too. It just seems everything clicks with that team. Everybody who goes there, it just seems like they know what they're doing all the time. It's just I don't know how they do it. This guy Chris Hogan was undrafted, another guy undrafted. Just go to the Patriots, and you're gonna have a chance to be really good. And he's relishing the opportunity.
It's funny. I mention this every week. My wife's a huge Patriots fan, so I watched a lot of the Patriots this year. And I remember one of the big things that came out of me watching the Patriots early in the year was that after the 4-game suspension, Brady came back. It didn't look like he had a lot of connection with Chris Hogan. And there was a lot of people talking about how, oh, man, here we go. This could be another Brandon LaFell kind of a situation. A guy who Brady's trying to rely on to throw the ball too deep and isn't making plays. And, man, we have not been more wrong.
Hey, maybe he could, take over Edelman's spot. I don't know what they're going to do with Edelman. It just seems like he's taken over to be that number one guy now, no?
Well, I mean, the thing about the Patriots that's so good is they have so many different weapons. They have Edelman who comes out of the slot. They have Hogan as their deep threat. Malcolm Mitchell has been playing unbelievable in his rookie season. And then you have these 3 running backs that the Patriots, flank out. And there were plays where they had all 3 of them on the field at times.
Yeah.
You have Deion Lewis flanked to one side. You got James White flanked to another. You got, LeGarrette Blount behind center, behind Brady. And you don't know where this ball is going to go. Any of the 3 of them can carry it. Any of the 3 of them can catch it out of the backfield.
And in the special teams also. Yeah.
God, this team is just absolutely
And Martellus
dominant.
Bennett. Don't forget Martellus Bennett.
The guy,
who's going to be there if he's their tight end. I don't know what's up with the Gronk, but it's amazing to think you just forget about Gronkowski. It's amazing how you forget about the guy who was the most dominant player in football probably for how many years in a row.
Definitely the best tight end in football.
Definitely the best tight end, but one of the most dominant players at his position and in the league. It's amazing.
Well, that says a lot about two things. That says a lot about the Patriots as a team building an offense that anybody can be successful in that system, but it also says a lot about the talent of Martellus Bennett. I mean, everybody knew that Bennett was going to be a huge addition to the Patriots this year. It was hearkening back to the old Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez days with those two split-out tight ends where they were both just playing unbelievably.
I think always when players sign, like, for example, Darrelle Revis, when he went to the Patriots, at the time I'm thinking, like, why? It's like anybody going to the best team. Why is he going to the Patriots? Like, oh, they're hated. They're Jets' rival. They're hated. Why is he going there? They won the Super Bowl. And you think about it, what's the ultimate picture? What's the ultimate plan for every team? They want to win the Super Bowl. And if you go to the Patriots, you're going to have a chance every year to contend for a Super Bowl. And every single player that plays in the NFL wants to get into the Super Bowl, wants to win it, but they want to get there too. It's a really special thing, I'm sure.
And, for a guy like Martellus Bennett, this is probably his last chance to win a Super Bowl. I mean, he's got a couple more years left in him, but he's not going to be the most dominant player in the world, so.
They'll find somebody else. They'll find somebody to fill in.
Oh, no. I agree. I'm just saying for a guy like Bennett, this is a big game for him because this is, maybe, that big chance that he got. I mean, you look at guys like Brandon Marshall, who's never been in a playoff game, and you think, how are some of these football is just one of those sports where some of the most dominant players in the game could never get a ring.
And I believe their offensive line this year is not one of the most inexperienced offensive lines. You have.
It's funny because last year a lot of people were talking about their offensive line saying, they're young, they're not playing well. And look at them. 1 year later, they stepped up and they're playing amazing.
Brady, Brady when he stands in the pocket, it's just was it I'm forgetting now the game. Was there one play where he was just standing against the Steelers in the pocket for like it like happens a lot, seconds. But there was one it was just like 10 seconds. He's just standing, not moving. He doesn't move. He just stands there. I'm like It's unreal. You can't stop that.
The funny thing is that Brady evolved this year. Brady has always been a very pocket-friendly quarterback, stands back, waits for a play to develop. We saw Brady move a lot. He didn't have to do a lot of that against the Steelers. The offensive line just took care of the Steelers. That they just gave Brady every single second that he needed.
Yeah, like I said, another game. It just wasn't that interesting. It's just from the start, it was all Patriots. And they knew probably at halftime, like, we're going to the Super Bowl again. And, there's not much more to say about the game. They just took care of, the better team won the game, They've just been pretty perfect all year, the Patriots. Tom Brady, people forget about his suspension, forget that. Nobody's going to remember that anymore. He just did what he had to do. And they're moving on to the seventh time to the Super Bowl.
We're going to get into the Super Bowl in a couple of seconds. First, we're actually going to get into kind of an interesting subject. We knew this was going to be a little bit of a light podcast, 2 games to cover, previewing a third. So we kind of wanted to make it a little bit interesting. We picked out 6 guys who look like they're going to be on the move, or they could end up back with whatever team, but kind of see where we both think they might land. We're going to start off with your boy. This is the best way to start this off. The biggest controversy that's going to probably wind up being in the offseason is what happens to Tony Romo.
What happens to Romo? Obviously, I don't want to see him go. I know that I just have to accept it. It's just his time's up in Dallas. I'm sick of hearing all these analysts or one analyst in particular thinking that there's any way that Tony Romo is going to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys next year. There's no way. There's no way. It's Dak Prescott's team. It's done. I know Jerry Jones. It's his boy. Tony Romo. He's my boy too. I don't want to see him go, but I have to accept it. And Romo should be highly coveted.
Absolutely.
Even with injury risk, you have to take a chance on him. You see what he can still do. He is injury risk, but I don't want to see him go. But he's going to go to a team. Where do you think he's going to end up?
There's a lot of places he can go.
A lot of teams.
A lot of rumors circulating around. Of course, the big teams that really need quarterbacks that that really stand out in your mind are a team like the Browns, who probably won't take a chance on him.
No.
A team like the Broncos, with Trevor Siemian not playing as well, them really not making the playoffs this year. That could be a big incentive.
Personally, I think that would be a great fit for Romo for sure, and he has weapons there too. Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, and he has the weapons. I think that would be the best fit for him. They're talking about Houston is a potential landing spot.
Yep.
I heard rumors about them trading, J.J. Watt for Romo.
I heard that too. That
would be for the Cowboys. That would be unbelievable.
That's a great deal for the Cowboys, but I don't.
Two guys who are injury risk. Watt's in the past few years he's been hurt a lot, but
you get a lot more mileage out of J.J. Watt than you do Tony Romo.
Listen, and honestly, the Jets should go after him.
Look, the Jets, the other two teams I was going to bring up are two teams that are probably at the bottom of the barrel of not really thinking about it. But
I would love to see him on the Jets. I want to see him close to home, watching him every week.
The Jets and the 49ers. I mean, how do both of those teams not have
49ers?
They're not having it.
He has to go to a team that's playoff ready that can make it. And I think if he goes to the Jets, they have a chance.
Well, okay. Well, that brings up another thing. One of the big names that that isn't on this list. But I mean, we'll kind of lead into it a little bit. We know Fitzpatrick is gone. He's going to go, and he's going to be a backup somewhere. But another big name that's on this list that a lot of people are talking about maybe moving is Brandon Marshall. Now, the thing is that do you pay all the money for Tony Romo and then try to figure out how you're going to pay all this money to Brandon Marshall, or do you think Brandon Marshall takes a pay cut if he sees that Tony Romo gets signed?
I think he would take a pay cut for Romo. You know how his his love affair with Fitzpatrick that he had, right?
Of course.
But Romo is how many? Oh my! It's not even a comparison with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Absolutely not.
And it's not even close. Okay, Romo could lead the Jets to the playoffs. It's just tough. With them in the Patriots division, if Brady's there, they're not winning the division. But will they fight for a wild card? But
yeah, the Dolphins did it this year. Why can't the Jets?
That's true. The Dolphins also. That's a tough. It's a tough division now. The Bills are not not terrible. I don't think he's ending up with the Jets. I mean, I don't see it. Denver.
I'd love to see it.
Houston.
Look, as a Jets fan, I'd love to see it. I'm just going out there.
Houston does make sense also. Good defense.
It does.
He'd stay in Texas. Stay in Texas. You don't have to really move far. But let's just make it. Let's just put it away. He's not going to be the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback, and he's not going to be there. He's not going to be on the team next year. I do not see it happening. There's no way he's going to want to be a backup.
I mean, I see that Romo becomes a part of that organization after he retires. That's what I see. I think Jerry Jones, gives him a little bit, maybe as a quarterback coach, maybe something in the front office. I think he has a future in Dallas, but I don't see his playing future in Dallas.
It's definitely not. We'll see what happens. It's going to be the talk of the offseason.
Well, the other big talk now is that the Patriots said they're open to take up some trades for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So where we just talked about a whole bunch of teams that are quarterback hungry. Where do you see a guy like Garoppolo maybe ending up?
I mean, I was talking to him before the show. Maybe the Browns. The Browns.
Poor Garoppolo.
Yeah, poor Garoppolo. But you know what? You don't know what to think of the guy. The guy's played how many games in his career?
He played. Well, he started 2.
Yeah.
But he got injured in the second.
He played a few. But you don't know. Coming from the Patriots. I mean, how many guys coming from the Patriots do well? Later on, like Matt Castle, he did pretty well.
I was just gonna bring him up.
Matt Castle, he did pretty well in Kansas City. They made the playoffs, I believe. They won 10 games one year. But Garoppolo, he's got talent. And he's been sitting behind Brady. What better quarterback to be sit behind and learn from than Tom Brady? Maybe this is an Aaron Rodgers type guy,
It could be.
It could be, but we haven't seen enough from him. And if he goes from the Patriots to the Browns, maybe he is a quarterback for the future. He's young. You never know. There's a lot of teams out there. San Francisco maybe should take a shot at him.
I
wouldn't give up their pick, their number 2 pick, but
I would definitely try to figure out a way.
Absolutely. I would try to figure out a way also.
And you know how the Patriots like to take those late round picks. So maybe
what about the Jets?
All right. Well, it's funny because you brought up Matt Castle. I remember being a Jets fan, watching that season. Brady gets hurt. Matt Castle takes over. I really thought that was going to be the year the Jets were going to make the playoffs, and they didn't. The Dolphins actually won that division. And I remember thinking, man, we got to go out and get Matt Castle. The Patriots are going to get rid of him. We could probably get him. We have to go get Matt Castle. And they didn't, and he went to the Chiefs, and he wound up being okay. But out of that system, he didn't play well. And that's what I'm scared of with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, is that out of that system, he might not be as good as we thought he was. As a Jets fan, I would rather see them take a chance on drafting a quarterback this year than for the 5th year in a row. But, drafting a quarterback, but a high-level quarterback, not the second-round stuff that we've been doing with Hackenberg and Petty, not somebody like Geno Smith, who we never really saw a future in. I mean, they drafted Sanchez, and Sanchez played well enough for them to make 2 AFC championships in a row, and then he got exposed because the offensive line left him.
Butt fumble.
Butt fumble, absolutely. But you draft a good quarterback in the draft, a top pick, and
what are they picking this year, the Jets? Where are they at?
I think they're top. I think they're top 6.
Are they?
I think so.
Are they? Okay.
So I think they have a good chance.
I don't know, man.
But
there's no quarterback besides Deshaun Watson. I don't even know if he's going to go in the top 10. If a quarterback's going to go in the top 10, but
they might not.
I like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
You know, there's this guy Trubisky, but if I were the Jets, What are they? They're going to take another guy. So I guess they're going to give up on Hackenberg. I don't think. I mean, you don't think Hackenberg's the answer?
I said from the beginning. I didn't think Hackenberg was the answer.
Petty's definitely not.
Yeah, he's not.
And Geno Smith is gone.
He could have been.
Probably.
Geno Smith is going to be cut at the end of the season too.
But they're going to take another guy, another young. I don't know.
I don't know. At this
what are
point,
they going to do next year if they get rid of Fitzpatrick? They're going to start him. They're going to start their rookie.
Who the hell knows at this point? That team's a mess. That could be a whole podcast we can do on just how big of a mess the Jets are.
But Garoppolo is should be a hot commodity.
Maybe San Francisco. Maybe San Francisco.
Maybe I like Garoppolo. You know, he could.
So do I.
He's been around winning. You know, and that says something.
Absolutely.
And I think he has the talent.
Well, we'll see what that happens. You know, we'll move on from the quarterbacks and we'll go to the their counterparts, the wide receiver. The biggest name in the wide receiver pool right now is Alshon Jeffrey. There are so many teams that can benefit from a guy like Alshon Jeffrey. It's not even funny.
No, definitely. He's been on a bad team pretty much his
entire career.
He started off with Brandon Marshall, I believe, right?
Yeah, he did.
And he's got a lot of talent, and I don't see him going back to Chicago. I mean,
why would
there is going to be a team that's going to go after him. He's a very talented receiver. He got suspended this year.
Yeah.
Remember for.
Yep.
What teams there? Any team with a he's a number one guy, obviously.
Absolutely.
He's a number one guy.
Do you see a playoff hungry team? Maybe taking a big chance to bolster their offense.
Absolutely. I definitely see a playoff hungry team. I think he has to go to a team with a quarterback. He's got to go to a team with a quarterback. If he ever had a quarterback, he had Jay Cutler, but yeah, Jay Cutler's not.
A team that keeps popping into my head is the Redskins. How much would they benefit from a guy like Alshon Jeffrey?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, like you said, this is a number one receiver we're talking about.
And you look at a team like that, and even the Chiefs, where we saw that the Chiefs try to integrate a couple some new guys into their offense this year. They really relied on a lot of their number 2 guys, and they relied heavily on Travis Kelce. That might be a thing to give Alex Smith a big option. I mean, Jeremy Maclin, I don't think he really panned out this year for them. He got hurt. He wasn't playing at 100%. Imagine, if they dump Maclin and pick up a guy like Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah, no, definitely the Chiefs. The Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' problem is their quarterback. I mean, I like Alex Smith, but he's not the answer. They have a very talented team. Imagine you put who on the. I don't know. Imagine you put Aaron Rodgers on the Chiefs.
Oh, they can be a Super Bowl contender.
But Alex Smith is just more of a game manager. He's never, a team that popped in my head. Maybe. I don't know how it works with the money, but Seattle. What about Seattle going after Alshon Jeffrey?
I mean, that's huge. The thing about Seattle is that Doug Baldwin's talented, but he's not a number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
And Doug Baldwin would benefit so much from having a number 1 there. Kind of like in a situation with how well Eric Decker started playing when Brandon Marshall got to the Jets.
I think he has to go to a winning team, a winning franchise. I mean, he could help the team a lot. Seattle. What about, New Orleans?
Give
another weapon, Drew Brees.
Well, I mean, Drew Brees. There's also no guarantee Drew Brees is staying in New Orleans too. There's been a lot of rumors about that swirling around.
Really think he's?
I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And if they
finishing in there.
And you know what? I mean, look, my dream is that he'd wind up coming to the Jets. To be honest with you, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
But no, that's a great place for him to end up. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey on the Saints. That's that makes the Saints a playoff ready team.
I'm just thinking
if they get a defense.
We'll remember this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle. Maybe sneak in there.
All right.
Go after Alshon Jeffrey. Maybe Kansas City. That's your team.
I'd love to see him go to Kansas City.
We'll see. Okay.
We'll stick with the wide receivers, Deshaun Jackson. Now, there's been a huge rumor that Deshaun Jackson might be going back to the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's big for the Eagles.
That's
for Carson Wentz. Oh yeah.
Giving
and
him
Deshaun Jackson, you think like he's still a threat. He's still
the guy he's
amazing.
one of those guys who's kind of almost ageless.
Yeah.
He still has so much speed left in those legs.
I wouldn't want to see him. I mean, for the Cowboys' sake, like he's been in the NFC East his whole career. Eagles, that would help Carson Wentz a lot. Listen, another guy, any team, he can help any team. He's a deep threat. It's a big part of, if you can have a deep threat, then it changes the whole game. The Eagles would definitely benefit from getting him back.
Let me tell you something. I'd love to be a team that has money this year. Going out and maybe making a big trade him, maybe a top pick for a guy like Deshaun Jackson. Actually paying for a guy like Deshaun Jackson, trading a big pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, that remakes your entire team.
I think that would kill the Redskins if they lost him.
Oh yeah.
Now the Kirk Cousins drama, they just they're gonna franchise him again probably.
Yeah, I mean,
and he said he'd be okay with that.
I kind of think he deserves it. I think he's proven himself there.
He has, but you know what? Another guy that's just like he's not gonna take them over the hump.
I don't think so either. But then again, you put the right weapons and put a good defense in front of him.
But you know what?
Be the
I'll
guy.
give a credit to Mike Shanahan. He's the one that put Cousins in the game.
Yeah, after RG3 collapsed.
Yeah, and he made his. He pretty much ruined RG3's career, and then
RG3's injuries ruined his career. I mean, you can't blame Mike Shanahan for that.
That's true. No, I can't blame him for that. But Kirk Cousins has had a very good career so far.
He has.
He's been better than anybody thought he could be, probably. And listen, I don't think he shows up in big games, but they are a playoff team, contender in the last few years. So. We'll see what happens. But if they lose Deshaun Jackson, I think it's a big loss to their team.
I agree. Well, we have we have two other guys that are on this list. I'm going to kind of group them together in a way, and we'll kind of talk about them both at the same time. Eric Berry, Jason Pierre-Paul. The reason why I'm grouping them together is I don't think there's a lot of discussion about JPP. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think the Giants put the money down.
He wants all the money.
But I think the Giants put the money down and sign him again.
How many fingers does he have now?
I think he's got like 3.
3 left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been pretty good with 3.
Listen, the guy had a club on his hand and was still playing pretty decent.
No, he's been great.
He's a monster, but he's one of those New York staples. I don't see him going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere. They're going to pay him. They need him on that line. Him and Vernon. They have to keep those guys together.
Or, I mean,
you know how big they were at the end of last year.
I think Eli's time in New York and in the NFL is kind of starting to come to a close. That window's really closing. Oh, yeah. If you want to keep him around for one more season to see if he can be productive, you need somebody like JPP on that team.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely need JPP. Well, he needs Eli.
Eli needs a lot of things, to be honest.
Eli needs a lot of things, and they need another. I think they need another wide receiver.
I agree.
Victor Cruz is done.
I think Victor Cruz is done after the season. What if they go after somebody like Deshaun Jackson?
Sterling Shepard showed signs. But he was a rookie.
Yeah.
He dropped some balls in that playoff game. And Odell is Odell. I just don't think Eli and him. I don't think they ever meshed. I don't think they ever worked together.
I don't think they get along.
I don't think Eli likes Odell.
I just don't think behind this. I
don't blame Eli though.
But
I don't like Odell. I think you see all his shenanigans. Like he's got to just put his ego aside and start showing up in big games.
But I mean, you see like some of the bigger the bigger quarterback, especially recently. You see like the bigger guys like quarterback wide receiver combinations. It looks like these guys get along behind the scenes. It looks like Ben and Antonio Brown get along. It looks like always looked like Brady and Moss looked like they got along, even though they're two complete opposite guys. I just don't see any synergy with Odell and with Eli.
I don't see it, and you know what, Odell, it's not going to be his quarterback for a lot longer. As long as Odell's there. So, and listen, the Giants, let's talk about the Giants. What are they going to do? They have to start looking at quarterback.
Yep.
And you know how hard it is to find a quarterback in this league. Listen, the Cowboys, like I said, they got lucky. I'm thankful that they have Dak Prescott because you know what? He is their future. He is the franchise. Him and Zeke Elliott. The Giants, they're gonna be in trouble if they need a quarterback.
I agree.
And who is going to be in the draft? What are they going to do? You know how hard it is to find a quarterback in this league.
It's nearly impossible.
All the big quarterbacks.
I'm a Jets fan. I know it.
Peyton Manning's gone. Brady's getting older, but he's playing like as long as he's around. Big Ben. He's talking about maybe retiring.
Yeah.
This is like the crop. Phillip Rivers. He's still playing well, but he's getting older. Eli. These teams are going to have to start thinking about their future.
Yeah, I mean,
all these teams.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not not going to be around for too much longer. A lot of people forget how long Matt Ryan's been in the league.
Yeah.
There's
it's like 10. Has it been 10?
It's close to it.
8,
Drew Brees is another one. I mean, there's
Drew
a lot
Brees,
of these guys are getting
right.
Up there.
They are.
So and the last guy we can talk about briefly is Eric Berry. There are just so many teams that could benefit from somebody like him.
Yeah, you having a good safety like that, Earl Thomas and him.
That makes your entire team. Look at how bad Seattle wound up playing without Earl Thomas. You get a guy like Eric Berry that's maybe on a halfway decent team. It makes their defense almost an elite defense.
It's gonna be hard for the Chiefs to get rid of him also.
That's the thing. I don't know if the Chiefs let Eric Berry go.
No.
I mean, if you have the money to re-sign him, who else? I mean, who are they spending money on this year that may prevent them from re-signing him? If I'm the Chiefs, I'm going out and I'll drop Jeremy Maclin.
Maybe a left tackle. I don't know that game with that holding call and well, Eric Fisher.
But I drop Jeremy Maclin in a heartbeat to keep Eric Berry. And find another wide receiver somewhere.
Absolutely, and I don't think Jeremy Maclin ever fit in Kansas City.
I don't think he did either.
He's a very good receiver.
He really is.
Jeremy Maclin, I always liked him. But yeah, you can't replace a good safety like that.
Nope.
A great safety like that.
And
it's really hard.
The Chiefs' hallmark is their defense. I don't see Eric. He's another guy who I don't see Eric Berry going anywhere.
I agree with you. I don't see it happening.
All right. Well, all right. This is something I'm just kind of thought of in the last 45 seconds. I just want to throw it out there just real quick. Next season, breakout player. Who do you think it's going to be?
Ooh. Putting me on the spot,
I'm going to put you on the spot. Because I haven't really thought about it either. But one guy popped into my head who I think is really going to take that next step because we started talking about quarterbacks. So I'll go first this way and give you a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
I think next year we're going to see Marcus Mariota make a huge leap and be talked about as, I mean, there's the elite. There's the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. I think Matt Ryan snuck his way in there. And you can talk a lot. Obviously, Brady's there. He's number one. We always talk about Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and let's face it. For as well as the Raiders did this year, you have somebody like that, getting mentioned in there with it. Yeah. I think Mariota might be the guy if he gets the right amount of weapons around him, could break out and be at least put under that right, or at least right under that elite category.
I agree with you. That especially in that division, which is not good.
Not a good division.
Not a good division. Listen, he got hurt. It ruined their season.
Absolutely.
I hope he's ready for next year. But
I think he is. Teddy Bridgewater. You see what happens with him.
Mariota's
hard.
He's a numbers machine. He could put up numbers like there's no tomorrow. He could run. He can pass. He's getting better every year. You see it.
He really is. Him and Derek Carr. I think made the biggest evolution.
Their defense is getting. They were a young team.
Yeah.
I like that. A guy did pop in my head. Well, it's only because a guy. He just broke out this year. I think that he's going to step out. I think a guy like Devontae Adams.
Absolutely.
The future. He's a number one guy to me. And playing with Aaron Rodgers, he's a guy who can put up numbers also. I think Devontae Adams popped in my head. I'll go with Devontae Adams.
That's actually two pretty good picks.
Yeah.
I think that we're kind of getting we're kind of getting to get the end of this golden age of quarterbacks here.
18 touchdowns for Devontae Adams next year. Call it now.
All right, fine. You want to make a bold prediction on your guy? I'll make a bold prediction on mine. I say the Titans make the playoffs next year.
Okay, I like that. I'll say that the what's my bold prediction for next year?
Well, you said 18 touchdowns for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a pretty bold prediction.
Think of a team stepping up there, a team coming out of nowhere to make the playoffs. The Jets? No.
I'm a Jets fan.
Unless
I'm not
Romo's there.
Yeah, maybe. All right, well, let's get into it. We know what's coming up. Super Bowl Sunday. Falcons, Patriots. The Super Bowl I predicted, by the way.
You did? You did predict it?
Throwing that one out there. So, could two teams seem to almost be nearly identical in almost every category when it comes to these teams?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I was listening to Colin Cowherd.
Okay.
And he brought up a good point. He brought up something very interesting to me. He was comparing last year's Super Bowl to this year. He was saying how this NFC South team, has a big season. The Cam Newton had a huge season. They were a dominant team all year. They make the Super Bowl, and then the Falcons come on, same kind of thing. They make a big run. They go to the Super Bowl. You have the Patriots and the Broncos. Peyton Manning, aging quarterback, but Tom Brady. Tom Brady's playing better than Peyton Manning was.
Oh, absolutely.
I just thought it was interesting the way it's kind of similar. You think about it.
Yeah.
But I already know. I know. I was thinking about it today. I know who I'm going to pick. Should we wait till the end?
We'll wait till the end.
Okay, we'll wait till the end. It seems like this was meant to be this Super Bowl. The two hottest teams. All Matt Ryan. You have the MVP. Coming in. Well, maybe the MVP having his best season. This is a big game for him. You have a dominant offense. Julio Jones. all these guys. You have Dan
Sanu.
Quinn. This is his third Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's with the Seahawks. He's been with the Seahawks defensive coordinator. You have the Patriots coming in, their 7th time going to the Super Bowl. All sign. It's just this game. I don't see this being a blowout by either of these teams.
No.
This game has to be close. And it's funny, the Patriots always play in close Super Bowls. Every single game is like 3 points.
They do.
It just seems like it. It is. 3 to 5 points every single Super Bowl. It's just, I don't think you can ask for a better game. You think about it now. I didn't want to see it, but this should be an amazing game.
It's really what kind of stood out to me is the stories, because there's 2 huge stories on both sides. Brady suspended for 4 games, not even for deflating footballs, but for he's not even suspended for what he did. It's insane. He comes back, has an MVP candidate year, and now
You're not surprised. We're not surprised.
Of course,
by
we're
it.
not surprised.
We're not surprised at all. No.
And now Roger Goodell is going to be sitting in between Tom Brady, and the other big story on the other side is Matt Ryan has never gotten this far. And he's always been looked at as, the other guy. It's always been, well, here are the elite quarterbacks, and maybe we can maybe put Matt Ryan in that category. Like this year, everybody said, oh, here's the elite quarterbacks. We'll include Matt Ryan. Now Derek Carr was the guy on the bubble. Matt Ryan was always the guy on the bubble.
Yeah.
This year, Matt Ryan's proved Matty Ice was here to play. He was here to stay. He got the right amount of people around him, and this could be a huge Super Bowl for Matt Ryan. If he goes out and wins it, this puts him in that elite category.
I agree with you. It does. You just think about it. Matt Ryan, you think about how big this is for Matt Ryan. Look at the Panthers last year. Cam Newton, look what happened in the Super Bowl. They just got dominated.
Yeah.
And look what happened to them this year, the Panthers. They just
fell
fall off the face of the earth. You have to cherish this opportunity. Matt Ryan, he knows this could be my last chance in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
If you win, it's a huge step for him. If you lose, he's like, I might not get here again. This is a huge step in my career. This really, talk about a turn. If he wins this Super Bowl, you can talk about he might be in a Hall of Fame, category. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
If he wins. But if he doesn't win this game, it's just another quarterback that lost in the Super Bowl, and he might not ever get there again. They have a lot of talent. They're losing Kyle Shanahan, which is going to be a big loss to them. They have the weapons. It is a huge loss. It's just think about Matt Ryan, his emotions now. Think about, he's like, I gotta play well in this game. I have to win this game. So we'll see how he plays. I think he will play well. But like I said, he's going against the 4-time Super Bowl champion on the other side, who's playing for something also.
Well, staying on Matt Ryan, kind of also bringing this, a little bit full circle. I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Over the past 15 seasons, out of the AFC, there have been 4 quarterbacks that have been Super Bowl. Been in the Super Bowl. It's been Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and the one guy who made it and won the Super Bowl was Joe Flacco. And you look at at Joe Flacco and see that guy's got a ring and Matt Ryan doesn't. Kind of it makes me a little angry because I know Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than he is.
Yeah.
And I think this is his chance. This is it.
This is his chance. Oh man, you think about, oh my gosh. But you know what? Last year was Peyton Manning's last game. We knew it probably, and he won. He went out on top. Tom Brady, this isn't his last game. I don't think.
No,
it's not his last game.
He said he wants to play till he's 100 if he's able.
But man, going against, if you're Matt Ryan, you're like thinking to yourself, oh, I got to go against Brady. I have to beat, and if he loses, you
have to know how bad he was probably watching these games thinking, man, don't let it beat the Patriots. Just don't let it beat the Patriots.
I think their team he's not going to choke. I don't think he's going to choke under this pressure. This matchup is just so good, It
is.
It really is.
If we move on from the quarterbacks, we can go into the running back situation. I mean, these teams, again, both teams are stacked at the running back position.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to choose, it's tough to choose.
It is.
Yeah.
Because, it's 3 guys against 2. It's the way they're both used. They're both used very, both teams use their running backs in their passing offense. They use them as rushers. Both teams have, guys who rush well. Both teams have guys who catch well. Their schemes are similar. And, I mean, this is what makes the Super Bowl so cool is that they're evenly matched. Even in the wide receiver category, I feel like they're evenly matched.
Yeah.
Their offenses are so on the same par. I think this game gets broken down to who has the defensive advantage.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I also think, man, Julio Jones.
Oh my God.
I mean, he has to. They have to feature Julio Jones in this game.
Okay, but let's
right.
What did Antonio Brown do last against them?
Yeah.
This is we always talk about this every week. It's something I will bring up until it's not true.
But you know what?
Bill Belichick's game
Right.
plan is to eliminate the best player on the opposing offense, and you have to think that they're going to double team Julio Jones most of this game.
If I'm Julio Jones, I'm saying to Matt Ryan, they have to
force it to me.
Get me the ball.
Get me the ball.
And I would take, like I said, I would take it. I know, but Julio Jones is so much better than. He's so.
He's
physical.
not better than Antonio Brown.
I don't know. I don't know. They're different.
But I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones have a better connection.
The complete package, I take Julio Jones for the whole package. This is Julio. Julio's got to.
I mean, you got to think these are the Patriots are playing two of probably the three best wide receivers in the NFL. 2 weeks in a row, 2 huge games in a row. I mean, you throw Odell Beckham in there. That is it. That's your top 3 wide receivers in the NFL. It's Julio, it's Odell, it's Antonio Brown. They neutralized Antonio Brown last week. We didn't get to see what they were going to do against Le'Veon Bell because he got hurt. D'Angelo Williams came back and hurt them a little bit. But this is the thing that I think that, if they do really try to, go after Julio Jones, the Falcons have a good enough running game to make up for the fact that, maybe they can, hit him with a couple of running plays, get the 10 yards, get a first down, look like they're going to commit to the run, and then bang, Matt Ryan breaks out and hits a huge pass to Julio.
And you know what a big part in this game is, too, I think, is we'll see if they can get pressure on Brady early.
Absolutely.
We will see if that, and if they can, all right, then the Falcons
have
start
a
believing.
Chance. Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
We'll see if they can get to Brady. And the Patriots, defense, like we said, always seems to just show up in
every time they need
big games. We'll see how that. I think that's the X factor. We'll see if they can get to Brady. I think they will. I think that the defensive coordinator is going to say they're going to let him loose this week.
You can't do anything else but.
If you flush Brady out of that pocket, then we're talking.
Well, I mean, it's that time. We got it. We got to give our predictions. How do you see this game going? Tell me what you think.
Well, listen, like I said, Matt Ryan has a lot of motivation. This is my first Super Bowl. I got to get, I have to show up in this game. It's the freaking Super Bowl. Tom Brady, 4-game suspension. He has that motivation. But it also came out where you heard his mother is not doing well. His mother is not doing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's playing with that all year also. So he's got extra motivation. I don't know if I heard that she'll be at the game. It's just the storyline. I said it before the season. I said, imagine that picture before the season. Roger Goodell having to hand Brady the trophy, that perfect ending to the season, and it's here now, and we know that Roger Goodell does not want to see the Patriots do it. As much as he said he's like, it'd be an honor to hand Tom Brady the trophy. He doesn't want to see them do it. He does not want to see them do it. It'd be, oh man, they're gonna if he does it, they're gonna shake hands. Congratulations, blah blah blah.
And Brady's respectful. He's not gonna say or do anything. Man. Oh God! I would love to just see Brady to flip him off or something like that. Just something completely classless and out of Tom Brady's.
He wouldn't.
And he won't do it. But I would love to see.
He won't do it. I have to go with the experience. Falcons' first time there. It's their first time there. I would love to see Matt Ryan, win it. But I cannot. This year has been Patriots all year. Brady has all the motivation. You have Belichick. You have the Patriots. This is going for their 5th Super Bowl. I have to go. I'm thinking all day. I'm like, I don't see the Patriots losing this game. I really don't. This is the way it has to end the season, with the Patriots winning the Super Bowl again, as much as I don't want to see it. But I'm kind of, I hate the Patriots, yeah. I don't like that they cheated, yeah. But you know what? I kind of want to see Brady do it to stick it in Goodell's face, because I don't like Roger Goodell. I don't see us, and I see the Patriots winning this game, and I'm not changing my view. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going with Brady. I'm going with the Patriots for his 5th Super Bowl.
All right. Okay. I agree with you in a lot of respects. I really do. I think that there is, I hate the Patriots. They are the most hated franchise in sports, according, as far as me. I hate them with a just a blind passion. However, the idea of seeing Roger Goodell having to eat the biggest pile of dirt in the world, handing that trophy off with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick standing right there. Both of them just standing there, and with those half smile. Brady's smiling big. Belichick doesn't know how to smile; it's not in his DNA. And they're just staring a hole into Roger Goodell, and he's got to hand that trophy over. Man, would that be awesome to see? On the other hand, you have a guy like Matt Ryan who is going to play his heart out. He is going to play with every ounce that he has. Julio Jones has been unstoppable this year. Mohamed Sanu has looked great. Their running backs are looking awesome, and they go in and they have to play against the most dominant team in the past 15 years. Ever since Brady's been the quarterback for that team, they've been the most dominant team in the NFL. With that being said, I think that we're at a point where everybody wants the Patriots to lose, but thinks they're going to win. That's basically what it is. I'm going to regret doing this. 27-24 Atlanta Falcons. That's my Super Bowl prediction.
If you got the Falcons, okay. I kind of knew you were going there.
And here's my reason.
Do you want to score for me? Nah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a score. I see Brady. I see Matt Ryan throwing an interception at the end of the game with the ball 2 minutes ago. I see that happening. That's what I see. I see Brady having a big game. I think that's what's going to happen. We'll hope Matt Ryan's going to throw an interception. The Patriots will win like 28-24.
Okay, so our scores are pretty similar.
Something like that. I didn't think of a score. We'll just go with that. Matt Ryan's going to throw a big pick at the end of the game.
I mean, here's my thing. Everything tells me to pick the Patriots because the experience is there, and I talked a lot about on this podcast about experience because I talked about what it was going to be like for the Cowboys to play in their first playoff game.
So wouldn't you go with your reasoning right there? Wouldn't you go with the Patriots?
I know. So everything is telling me that. Here's the thing. I don't think that I can pick the Patriots on just a personal level of I do not think I can sit there and watch that team hoist another Super Bowl trophy over their head.
What is it like sitting with your wife, who's a big Patriots fan, watching these Super Bowls? What has it been like?
It's miserable. It's so miserable.
And you're probably rooting for the other team so hard, right?
I try not to, but no, absolutely.
How terrible was the game against the Seahawks? That one. How terrible was that?
All I remember now that was one of the she's really just recently got into football. That's one of the first years she really started to watch football. That's kind of where she became a Patriots fan. And all I remember thinking to myself was kind of making fun of her a little bit. I'm like, they're going to give the ball to Lynch. He's going to run it in. The Seahawks are going to win the damn game.
That was one of the most shocking. That was really one of the most shocking endings to a Super Bowl I've ever seen.
Absolutely,
for sure, right? And even Brady was shocked in that game.
There's just those plays. The David Tyree catch, that Malcolm Butler interception. Those plays are going to go down in history as being these game changers that nobody saw coming, that made the entire Super Bowl what it was. That's going to be one of them. And this year, I see there being just I think the Patriots make a mistake. I just think they make a mistake. And it's not something that Brady would ever really do. Somebody jumps a route. It gets the Falcons pumped. And all of a sudden, they wind up. I think they win as time expires with a field goal. That's the way I see it. I don't think that the Patriots by far they don't get dominated. I don't think the Falcons get dominated. I think they play a great game. I think that the Falcons win with just with a field goal at the end of the game.
Okay, so we disagree. I like that. We'll see. Who comes out on top.
Yep,
at
absolutely.
The end of the day, this should be. Really, this has the potential to be a great one. Really.
This has the potential to be
one
of the
best Super
Super Bowls
in the last few years have been pretty good for the most part.
Except for that blowout.
Seahawks and
the Broncos. Yeah, with the exception
except that one. Last year also wasn't really much of a game. But, you had they had some good
But there was a story. There was a good story behind that game too, with Peyton Manning beating his last game. This is another game with a lot of really good stories going into it. And I'm really looking forward to see how the way this plays out. But here we go. Here it is. Once again, we split, which I think is great. You're taking the Patriots. I'm going to take the Falcons. Our scores are almost identical.
Matt Ryan throws a pick at the end. Remember.
I say that they win by a field goal. So that's
all right.
That's pretty much the way we're gonna go.
Awesome.
All right. So that's it for this edition of the Opening Whistle. As always, follow us on Twitter at the Slam Sessions and follow Avi on Twitter.
At Avi Schiffman 88.
Beautiful. that's it for us. We'll be back, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about some other stuff that's going to come up with the NFL offseason. There's always a lot of interest, when it comes to the draft, free agency, trades. This is going to be a really cool NFL offseason.
It is.
And I'm looking forward to it. So, with that being said, this is the opening whistle. We will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening to the Opening Whistle, which is a part of the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. You can find us on Twitter @The Slam Sessions. We'll see you guys next time.